Again, if it's...
Felton.
Alright, thank you. Well, I guess, what made you want to... What do you do?
Currently I'm assigned as a sergeant of criminal investigations.
Mm-hmm.
I also am on the tactical team, but I'm ultimately a police officer first.
Okay, what made you want to step up to do this job?
A lot of my friends had done it. I thought about it as I got older. I started when I was 25. It's one of those things where I thought about it, dismissed it, thought about it, dismissed it.
Mm-hmm.
Other things kept coming up. People kept suggesting, I dismissed it, and then eventually I just decided to become a police officer.
Okay. What exactly does one have to go through to become a police officer?
In North Carolina, each state is different, but in North Carolina you have to go and complete a course called the Basic Law Enforcement Training Program. It consists of anywhere from, how it depends on which year that you go, 500 to 600 hours, and each year it increases slightly, it never decreases. You complete that in a 4-month time period, and then you are allowed to then sit and take the state exam. Once you pass the state exam, then you may be a law enforcement officer in the state of North Carolina.
Is there anything that you, like prior education other than obviously a high school diploma?
No.
Alright, are you happy with your job? Would you consider this career as your bliss?
Yes, I wouldn't do any other job.
Alright, right now I'm actually a poolee for the United States Marine Corps.
Okay.
I haven't signed a job contract. I've gone to MEPS and I'm enlisted as a poolee. I ship next July as of right now. And for the longest time I can relate. I tossed around the idea of whether or not I want to be a police officer for the longest time. I was like, oh man, SWAT, that'd be awesome, or tactical team. And then I'm not gonna lie, the last couple years I've tossed around either lawyer or mechanic. But ever since I interviewed the sheriff, I've been really interested in possibly, becoming a police officer after my enlistment with the United States Marine Corps. I have to see where that takes me.
Okay.
Is there anything other than that I could do to possibly help me to get ready for try to become a police officer?
To actually become a police officer, no. There's nothing that can help you except life experience.
Okay.
Excuse me. Obviously, the more life experience you have, the more people that you talk to that have life experience, you can draw for that when you get into some of the situations we get into.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about the violent ones, just handling day-to-day, just resolving conflicts or disputes.
Yeah.
There's so many different facets of being a police officer. One, you have to be very obviously intelligent because you have to learn things at a rapid speed and then apply them almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
From book work to just simple passing out verbal communication to making inferences from just things that you glean from everyday patrol, i.e., you know that in this neighborhood these cars are always here, they're always here, and all of a sudden a vehicle that's out of place is in the neighborhood. Take a mental note, you look at it, you don't see anything obvious about it, but then later somebody goes, hey, we had a break and enter in this neighborhood. You go, there was a vehicle here, looked like this, it was out of place, that could be a suspect. So that's what I mean, you have to be very observant and retain everything. Aside from that, you need to be physically fit because not everybody just stops and waits for you to put handcuffs on them, so you have to run after them. You might have to wrestle them to get them in handcuffs. You also have to have a good verbal communication because not everybody needs to have a physical fight. You can't talk to a lot of people and make them come to the agreement of getting in handcuffs. So there's so many different facets. As long as you have life experience, intelligence, you're willing to learn, you'll be fine in this career.
Yeah, because when I was talking, the last person I interviewed in this particular line of work, a lot of the things they talked about that most police officers try to do, they want prevention, they don't want prosecution per se, because the more that you guys can prevent a crime, the better that it'll be, because I absolutely agree about the verbal skills, because if you can talk down a situation and get someone to relax and sit down and tell you what's going on, and you don't have to worry about people shouting, fighting, or whatever, then that's just a lot less work on everybody else. It's a lot less stressful and it's a lot easier and smoother. Do you have kind of like a story about how you got to this point in your life, or?
Not really a story. It's just what happened. It's not a per se a story. Started out small town, moved over to a different small town. Then I went to a bigger agency, and then I ended up here. Everything that I did on every single call in all the different places, I just keep with that and I remember and draw from it. So I wouldn't consider it to say as a story. It's just what happened.
Okay. If you were to look, like when you were a senior in high school, or when you were about my age, 17, 18 years old, would you have seen yourself where you are today?
No.
Absolutely not. Where do you think you would have been?
Probably a music education teacher.
Music education, like a band director?
Yes.
Or, really?
Yes.
Were you in band in high school?
Yes.
When did you play?
Started out playing in the high school, in the band. I started out playing saxophone.
Really? I'm also playing band as well. I started off on trumpet, and I've just gone down the line now. I play tuba, so. Any words of wisdom?
Get into as many things as you can get into in the military. Learn as much as you can learn.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to like until you do it. Everybody has an idea of what they would like.
Mm-hmm.
And as I just said, I was going to be a music education teacher. That changed. I've been a police officer now for almost 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just do as much as you can do and just keep an open mind about things, and something will come across the horizon that you love.
All right. What was your name, Rick?
Daryl.
And your rank?
Sergeant.
All right, thank you.